Hi there, Raymond Dell here with RLV Productions. Well, it is Friday and I hope you all had a great week. Got a little behind on posting my vlogs for this week, so I'm playing catch up today, and the vlog that I had for the previous week talking about the history of the bridal shows is going to go up right before this vlog here, so going to get 2 for 1 this week. The previous one's probably going to be a little bit boring, but hey, you know, I'm trying to get better at this, but hopefully it'll be a little bit better, this one here. We just had our first bridal show last Sunday at OkBride in Oklahoma City at the State Fairgrounds. I think it went really well. We had originally an idea to use a screen projector to display our video. Unfortunately, which I had a feeling would happen, it was a little bright in there, I was borrowing the projector from my boss Chuck from my TV station, and the one that we ended up having wasn't the best, but we thought it would work and we gave it a shot, and you'll probably notice that in the time-lapse video there. However, unfortunately, the screen was too small and we were too close to it. The projector was too close to the screen for what we wanted to do, so we finally had to abandon that idea and go with the TV monitor, which I had a feeling we was going to have to do after all, but we still wanted to try it and just to see, and we ended up going with the TV and everything went well. We got some great leads. I hope we get some bookings soon. A lot of people came by, had a lot of questions. I think we had someone that was on the fence of booking us that day. They still had some questions. They still had to think it over, so I really hope that they get back with us soon. I did a follow-up email-wise with the bride lead list that OkBride sent me a couple days afterwards, so didn't want to sound pushy or anything in the email, so I hope that goes well. I did have one person email back. They just wanted to know price, and which I get that a lot, and so hopefully those will turn into some bookings very, very soon. Our last hour of the bridal show, we walked around and got to meet with a lot of awesome vendors. We didn't get to meet with everyone that I wanted to meet because either they were busy with potential clients or they were busy watching the final bridal show that was going on at the time. That was really the only time we got to really go around and walk around and be able to visit with the other vendors. We were going to at 11 a.m. when we got there. Unfortunately, when we got there Sunday morning, there was the electrical fiasco that was going on, so we had to readjust our booth a little bit to accommodate and help with some of the other vendors that were piggybacking on a power strip that we were using. We let them plug into one of our drop cords that we brought, so just to help them out because the electrical was a little bit of a mess. I don't think it was anything on OkBride's part. I think it was just something with the state fair, maybe miscommunication or what, I don't know, but hopefully they'll be able to get that straightened out in the future. And because I know there was, on Saturday night, there was a lot of folks that really needed electricity that night to test things out, us included, because we didn't know what we were going to be dealing with the next day. And my wife, she's a little pushy, so she made sure that we got that, was able to test out with electricity, and things went well for us and for the vendor that really needed electricity that was catty corner to us. Also, the night before, we met the couple that runs Slow Fade Weddings, and they are like us, a husband and wife team. And I think that's a good thing because there's a lot of folks out there that are primary shooters, but they also have, or they send other shooters as primary so they can do more than one wedding per weekend. For me, that's really tough to do because I want brides to know that you're getting me. Unless I'm really sick and you know, or I broke my leg or something like that. That's only happened once, and I had foot surgery, and I thought I would be healed by the time that by the time the wedding came up, but that didn't happen. So I wasn't able to do the wedding, but my wife was able to, and we brought an assistant along to help us, and they were able to pull the wedding off, and everything went well. But 99.99999% of the time, you're going to get us. You're going to get my wife, who's going to hang out with the bride. You're going to get me, that's going to be hanging out with the groom. And we will bring a third shooter sometimes. If the client calls for that we're going to have 3 people on site, then you're going to get it. Sometimes we'll bring the third shooter anyway. Sometimes we may need help getting from point A to point B in a real quick amount of time, and we need to make sure that we're not falling behind, and we will bring a third shooter with us. A couple of other videographers we got to meet one was a Videography by Michael, and he seemed to be a very awesome guy, and I also told him that if he ever needed help with me maybe being a second shooter or a third shooter, then I would be available. So he sounded pumped about that, so I hope I get to work with him sometime. And vice versa. If let's say my wife gets sick, or maybe I can ask him to be a third shooter. I mean, I want us videographers to be able to connect with each other, and if someone always needs help, we want to be able to provide that, and vice versa. Another group of videographers we met was Iconic Studios, and they seem to be a great group of bunch, and I hope that we be able to, if there's a wedding we can't shoot, then we can send them a referral and vice versa. And photographers, I cannot stress this enough. We want to work with the photographers. We don't want to work against the photographers. I hear and see these forums that I'm on Facebook about, oh, the photographer was in my shot, or a videographer got in my shot. We don't want that to happen. We want to be able to be as unobtrusive as possible. So I'd like to be able to call or email a photographer that we're going to be working with at the wedding. So that's the reason on the questionnaire we send to the brides, who is your photographer? What's their phone number? What's their email address? I want to be able to communicate with them ahead of time and say, hey, we're going to be the videographers. We're going to be as unobtrusive as possible, but we also want to be able to come up with a plan and know what the schedule is with the photographer on what they're going to be shooting throughout the day. So that way we can be busy doing other things, or we'll be shooting right alongside. We don't want to be copying or anything. We don't want to feel like that we're copying shots, but we also want to be able to get some different shots as well. And then we're going to be doing some shots that we want to be shooting also. And they're, they can feel free to shoot right along with us on the shots that we're going to get too. We want to be able to get some drone footage and things like that. So, and we know that time is key, so we want to be able to just get in there and shoot and get out, in the same way with the photographer. Speaking of photographers, we met some awesome photographers, and one's right next to us was Mikah Marie Photography, and they had a really cool booth set up too, and I wished I got a picture of it, but I didn't. But you can check their Facebook page, and the link is at the bottom of this description here. But as brides were coming to their booth, they were like, hey, you need a videographer? And they would just point them right into our direction, and we cannot thank you all enough. And we hope that will generate some bookings really, really soon. So Mikah Marie Photography, we cannot thank you enough. And I hope I get this right. We also met Tyler from Free Wander Photography. I hope I pronounced that correctly, and I'm sorry if I blundered it. But I also loved your hat, by the way. I thought that was a really cool hat that you had wearing that day at the bridal show. But Tyler from Free Wander Photography. I'd have to say, if we weren't doing wedding videography, we'd probably be in the photo booth business. There are so many cool photo booth setups right now, and I think one of the ones that I saw at the show was from the company called Pics to Remember. They had a really neat setup, and the setup that they had, you could go over there and take a picture, and then you go over there and then you could sign or write something on the screen saying congratulations or something or whatever. And I thought that was really cool. And I mean, technology keeps changing and it's hard to keep up sometimes, but I really thought that was a neat selling point, what they had there at their show. And I really hope that have a good season this year, because that was a really neat setup. I thought that was really neat. Another photo booth company we met was with Snap Crazy Photo Booths, and they were some really nice folks. We got to visit with them for a little bit, and it was good networking that day, so I hope we get to work with them sometime in the future as well. Right across from our booth was Johnnie Sweet Creations, and of course my wife and I both have a sweet tooth, so we couldn't resist to go over there and sample a couple of their things that they had. And then but before that, they came over there and gave us their cards, and we traded cards, and so we went over there, and oh boy, they really have some nice cakes and some other sweet things too. And well, I should probably not be eating too many of those, but it was good, and they seem to be some very nice people. A few DJ folks that we got to meet was Life of the Party, and they seem to be some nice people, and also Banks Entertainment. Now, I've worked with Banks Entertainment in the past when I was still freelancing, or well, I still am freelancing with Daniel from Tulsa Event Video. So they're based out of Tulsa, and always a good experience with them. They seem to be very easy to work with. One good thing about DJs is that we try to also communicate with them before ahead of time. Sometimes that's not always the case. What we like to do is be able to use our audio recorder to be able to plug into their sound system if they have a record out or an audio out of some kind, so we can plug into our audio recorder so we can get good audio of the toast, the music, anything that's going on throughout the evening, particularly anyone that's going to be talking on a microphone, as anyone that's going to be speaking, and best man, maid of honor, matron of honor, the father of the bride could be talking, anyone. That way we can get some good audio. Our second neighbor on the opposite side of our booth was Julie from Wedding Ideas Magazine, and they also post daily on their Facebook page, but obviously you need to be a subscriber, or not a subscriber, but an advertiser in their magazine, this is their winter magazine right now. Their spring magazine is getting ready to come out here pretty soon, and we're gonna try them for 6 months and see how advertising goes with them. We haven't done a lot of advertising in this kind of nature in a long time. We've had ups and downs with print advertising. We've been trying to gear towards more social media anyway, so hopefully that will work, and we'll see how it goes. Right now she's been posting a lot of open house events at many venues right now, so hopefully that will get some more exposure for us and just more networking with other vendors, because right now we're trying to hit some of these open houses of these venues. And speaking of venues, there were so many we met that we got to visit with for a few minutes. Some of them were very busy, so we didn't get to stop and talk to everybody, but just to name off, Cobblestone Creek, Rose Creek, 11 Oaks Ranch, Daffodil Hill, Plantation at Coal Creek, Barn at the Woods, La Vita Bella Events, the Dominion House. I've had a coworker from KOM where I used to work in the Joplin, Missouri market, has been to the Dominion House and has said nothing but great things about that place. So I hope I can shoot a wedding there. Another place that seems to be a cool place is the Capitol View in Oklahoma City. And I took a look at their Facebook page, and there was some video. And basically the back view is the backdrop of at the wedding. It's outdoors, and you can see the Capitol, and you can also see the downtown Oklahoma City as well. So I'm like, yes, I want to shoot there, because just for those kind of imagery, I mean, that's why I got into this business, is just things like that. So it'd be really cool. Also, La Bella Event Center, Noah's Event Center, Venue 102, and they're a brand new facility, and they're not up and running yet, but they already have a Facebook page. They said they should be up pretty soon, from what I understand. La Bella Event Center, Fairytale Weddings and Events by Shirley, and that is on the OU campus. All these folks were great to meet, and they sit down and visit with us and asked us questions. We asked them questions as well. So hopefully we'll be able to get and meet with them very, very soon. And finally, the last venue we got to meet was the Grand Canadian Theatre right here in Purcell. Well, we also went to their open house here this past Tuesday night. Julie from Wedding Ideas was also at that event as well. And if you haven't checked out their venue, I highly recommend that you do. That is a beautiful facility. Used to be a movie theater, and I think it was something else in between. I don't remember what it was, but it is gorgeous. If you've ever been to the Mayo Hotel in Tulsa, it's similar to that. Balcony and everything. So I would highly recommend that you go and check that out. Some of the folks that we met there at the Grand Canadian Theatre that were some vendors was Blue Label Bartending, Fancy Cakes and Creations, Newly Florist, Austin Smith Events. Probably going to pronounce this wrong, and I apologize for this. Molare Bridal House. I hope that's right, and I apologize if I got it wrong. Harris Custom Catering, and they have some really good onion poppers. I think that's what they were. They were really, really good. And also Crawford's Photography. And so, I mean, it was a great 2 or 3 days on Sunday and Tuesday. And like I said, all the links to their Facebook pages are down below in the description. So check them out. And if you're looking for services still, and, you know, obviously, if you're looking for us too, be sure and check us out as well. Hoping to visit other open houses at the other venues this month, and also in February. There's some more that's going on in February as well. Hopefully, we'll be able to get more networking, and I'll probably do another update on another vlog later down in the future. There's some other things I'm getting ready to start as well. I'm currently still studying for the Part 107 test so I can fly my drone commercially. Right now, I'm not flying it at all because I don't have that Part 107 yet. And I've also discovered that I'm just barely in Class E airspace, which I'm going to have to get a waiver to be able to fly it just in the backyard of my own home. So that's going to be something too, because the only time I've flown in has just been at my parents' house just to practice and get comfortable with it. And they're on a 40-acre property anyway, but unfortunately my parents live three hours away from me, so I've got to do something else. So that's what I've been doing outside of advertising and marketing and things like that, and working at Channel 9. I've been studying and studying and studying and studying on this test, and everyone probably thinks I've been snobbing everybody lately, but I really want to pass this test, and I want to pass it once because it's $150 if you have to take it every time. So I want to make sure I pass it once and not have to worry about it for 2 years. So anyway, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope I didn't bore you to death. I hope this was informational. Don't forget to like this video and feel free to comment on there, and also don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And next week I'll come up with something else to talk about. Don't know what I'm going to talk about yet. Maybe more on the Part 107. There's another topic I'm going to talk about, but I need to write a script on that first before I start talking about that. And it's going to be an interesting topic, so hopefully I'll be able to start on that next week. If not, it might be a couple weeks because I really want to keep studying on this thing here. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.